Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we love having these folks in the studio. Susan G. Komen San Diego. Full disclosure, I was honored to be a board member for about 6 years, many moons ago. Joining us is Jenny Wilson, Development Director for Susan G. Komen. How you doing, Jenny?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me here, Drew.
Absolutely. And joined by your colleague, Conner Gossel. He's a Director of Marketing for the Broken Yolk Cafe. And I'm not just saying this, I am a frequent visitor of your restaurant.
I immediately started eating bacon when I saw his patch come in the room. I was like, oh.
High praise.
Carmel Mountain Ranch. I'm over down at the one in Mission Valley, and you guys are just top shelf.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you both saying that, having me in here. Couldn't think of a better way to spend a Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. And a volunteer for Komen, which I really appreciated. And joined by Katrina Butler, a breast cancer survivor and ambassador for Susan G. Komen. How you doing, Katrina?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Well, thank you so much for coming in the studio with us, and joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She's the Executive Director of San Diego Writers, Inc., and her third year co-hosting the Spotlight Show with me, and I'm just so thrilled about that. And Kristen, why don't you get us started with a question for Jenny?
Let's do it. So let's just learn a little bit about the mission of Susan G. Komen.
Yeah, thank you, Kristen. Susan G. Komen is the world's leading nonprofit breast cancer organization. Since our founding in 1982, we've invested nearly $1.1 billion in research and $2.5 billion in advocacy, education, and patient support.
You know, one of the things that, and I'm so glad that you led off with that, because it was certainly it was easy for us as board members when we were doing this many moons ago, that we wanted to make sure at every single touch point that we told people that more research for breast cancer comes out of Susan G. Komen than anywhere. And we all know research is certainly not inexpensive, but it is so critical. And you folks have just done a great job of doing that and working with such amazing folks in San Diego County. We are perfectly set up to do research in our region as well on that. So now, have you done any of the walks at all or the runs for Susan G. Komen?
No, but we should do one.
I do them all the time. Thank you very much.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I didn't want to call you out, but
every year. Are you kidding me? And it's turned into I sort of, it used to be a 3K or was it it was a 3K, right? And now I pretty much just walk about a half a block, and then
I thought that you told me you were going to do a 7-minute mile. When
I'll do a 7-minute walk around the block.
Okay.
It's a great event. Talk about the event that's coming up, Jenny.
Yeah, we're incredibly excited about the upcoming More Than Pink Walk. It's happening on Sunday, November 2nd at Balboa Park. This year actually marks our 30th anniversary of the walk here in San Diego, and we're aiming to raise $700,000 to support research, advocacy, and direct patient services. But honestly, it's more than just a walk. It's a celebration of survivors, a show of support for those living with metastatic breast cancer, and a powerful moment of unity for our entire community. So.
No, I think that's fantastic. Before we turn it over to Katrina, Conner, talk about why it was important for you personally or the folks at the Broken Yolk Cafe to get involved with this event and with this organization.
Absolutely. The brand having been around for nearing half a century at this point, who we support, who we're behind, how we're growing in the community and connecting with the families there, it's changed. But perhaps one of the most unwavering partnerships that we've had now for, goodness, close to 10 plus years has been with Susan G. Komen, and that's varied in its scope over the years. And the reason it's been so long-standing is because our franchise partners, it's a cause they can get behind. It's a cause they support. They understand the need for. They understand the impact that it has. And it's really grown from percentages of certain mimosa sales to being able to be on site for the More Than Pink Walk and dish out food to hundreds of survivors on site in the village and have more of an impact in the community.
No, we really appreciate that. And you folks have always been great in the community. And I'm a little prejudiced because of, my involvement with Susan G. Komen.
I thought you were going to say your involvement with Broken Yolk. I was like, me too, Drew. Me too.
No, I wasn't thinking that, but you were obviously.
Yeah, I was. I am.
And there's nothing wrong with.
I'm still thinking of that. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong thinking about that. But I think it would be hard pressed to have anybody who doesn't know somebody that has been impacted with breast cancer. And it's not a 6 degree; it's usually a 1 degree. So, Katrina, thank you so much for coming in. And if you don't mind, could you tell us your story?
Sure. So I've pretty much been healthy all my life. I wake up in the morning and thank God that I look in my medicine cabinet and the strongest thing that I have is extra strength Tylenol. And I've never had to take any medication. And I'm pretty healthy. My eating, exercising. And I went for my annual mammogram in August and they called me back to do a second visit because of the imaging wasn't clear. So I didn't worry about it, went back, second time, third time, they called me back. I'm like, okay, I'll come back. They did the biopsy and another imaging, and I was told on September the 6th, on the 3rd, that my results would be back for my testing on that following Friday, which was the 6th. And I got that call about 15 minutes before time for me to clock out at work. And it was my doctor who told me that she had my results back and she wanted to share those with me. And I said, okay, I have a minute. So she told me, I'm so sorry to tell you that you have breast cancer. And me being me, I said, okay, doc, thank you for your call. Have a good weekend. Talk to you later. Hung up, finished my 15 minutes, left work, and just went on through my day like nothing was wrong. Everything was normal. And it wasn't until about 3:00 in the morning, I got up, looked in the mirror, and I said, wow, that was a weird dream. Was it a dream? Did the doctor maybe read the wrong results? Maybe the results were off, and I still never reacted. And I wondered, what's going on? This is not normal. Normally, a person would probably freak out when they find out, you have breast cancer. So I thought about it and I said, no, it's not the wrong test. I think I heard her correctly. But then I said, you know what, Katrina, excuse me, go back to bed. It's your faith. You're not worried about anything. Go back to sleep. And I did. So I did not share the information. I kept it to myself for 4 days, not sharing with anybody. And I see my family daily. And I just happened to tell my supervisor, and I'm on a call every morning, the Faith Room, which is the bracelet that I'm wearing. And I'm there, it's 5 days a week at that time. And I did reach out to one of the pastors who is a female, and I told her what was going on. And I said, I was wondering if maybe there's anyone, don't give me any names, just throw my name out. Anybody that might know of anybody that has cancer that I can reach out to, because I'm not ready to talk to my family until I'm ready to deal with it and have all of the information, because I'm the go-to of the family. Not the oldest, but I'm the one that everyone goes to. So if I fall apart, everybody's going to fall apart. So I decided to not tell anyone. And when Pastor Cherie told me, I have 2 ladies that I want to link you with, instantly send them to me. They called me right away. Both of these ladies are survivors, not once, but twice or 3 times. And they were my rock, for the time until I was able to tell my family, which was an entire month later. But what I did reach out to my sister. So I swore her to secrecy, and she said, okay, I'm with you, sis, but you've got this. So long story short, what I did, I started planning a trip for my family. My supervisor, who owns a beautiful cabin in Lake Arrowhead, said, you know what? You can have the cabin for the weekend so that you can take your family and share with your family. So I planned, and nobody knew what was going on except for the family knowing that I'm getting everything together. So excited, went out shopping for everything, and I'm the cook. So I cooked everything and had the groceries ready. So we went to the cabin, and that's where I actually told my family. They thought it was just, we're going to get together. That's what Katrina normally does. We got together, and I did tell them, but it was almost uncomfortable because it's like, here it is a month later. How are they going to take this? And I wanted to, one of the ladies who I reached out to, Miss Vicky, she gave me an idea of what I could do for the family, and that was to get them a gift. So she sent me a picture of a hummingbird on a key ring. And I said, this is beautiful. This is perfect. So I made the key ring and I had that as a gift for everybody. But as I shared with Jenny, I have an amazing, amazing love for hummingbirds. And Ms. Vicky did not know that. And I got an even bigger one with my 4-day experience of hummingbirds. I'll come back to the cabin. But one day I came home from work and there was just a pile of rubbish on my patio. And I'm thinking, what is that? Didn't have my glasses on. And thank goodness I got a little closer and it was a hummingbird. It had either hit the window. It might have, something happened, but it was kind of unconscious. So I picked it up and I nursed it back to health. And I'm telling it, it's going to be okay. And I had my biopsy scheduled in the next 30 minutes. So I'm like, okay, it's hot outside. I can't leave him here, but then I can't take him to the wild animal preservation because I've got to be at my doctor's appointment. So I said, okay, little birdie, you're coming with me. So as I'm driving, I have my hand in the box and I'm rubbing its head and saying, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. So I can hear it moving once I'm parking. So I rush out and I put him in my hand over a bush and he wasn't okay. He kind of flopped over. So I took him into my appointment and that was interesting, but they were all accepting of it. So long story short there, it did finally come back to life or to conscious. So I took it outside and it flew away and I videotaped it. So that's my first day of hummingbird. No, second, because Miss Vicky and then the hummingbird. But I had to come back later for the biopsy and I didn't realize that the table next to me had a flyer with a hummingbird on it. So that's 3. So then I go to Costco the next day and there's a lady with a hummingbird on the back of her leg. I chase her down and I'm going, I'm sorry, miss, you're going to think I'm crazy, but can I have just 5 minutes of your time? And she stopped and she was calm. And I said, I have to share this with you. You're the 4th day or 5th day of my hummingbird experience. And I explained to her everything that was going on. And I said to her, I have breast cancer. That was the first time I had actually said it. I usually say my diagnosis, my doctor's report, my diagnosis. But I said to the stranger, I have breast cancer. She cried. We hugged. I don't know how long we stood there, but we had the attention of everybody in the store. So she told me her experience with the hummingbird, which was her dad passed away in the hummingbird experience. But so that's my 4 or 5 days of hummingbirds. Back to the cabin, I told my family everything. And of course, my mom was shocked and hurt because she thought that I should come to her first. And I had to explain to her, Mom, I'm your baby. I'm 61, but I'm your baby. And for you to hear that I have cancer, you would have fallen apart. And although I know you have faith, I needed to be okay and be ready to answer every question. So I did. So that weekend was beautiful in the end. But since then, we've come home and it seems that so many blessings, if I could call it blessings, someone else would think that it's crazy. But I've had so many opportunities, including this. I've never done this before.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was actually interviewed by Abby Black at the last year's walk, and I wasn't expecting that because I'm stage fright. I'm a photographer. I'm behind the camera, never in front. And she said, "Hi, I'm Abby Black from News 8, and you're live." But the interview It went well. 6 minutes, surprising. The next blessing was I was called on the stage unexpectedly to do with the Faith Room to give my testimony. And I'm going, which testimony? The one about cancer? And they were like, oh, we didn't know. So that was another opportunity. Tomorrow I'm doing another a testimony. And I don't call it an interview. I call it a testimony because it's easier for me to say what's going on with me. But I am well now. I'm
Congratulations.
And thank you so much. And I am loving life and living life as though I'm an empty nester. And I'm living my life as an empty nester. My kids are kind of jealous.
Well, I mean, this when we come back from break, that's an amazing story, Katrina. I was expecting to see you wearing a hummingbird shirt or something like that, All right, there's something back over here in her backpack. Here, look at this beautiful shirt. We're going to get this on YouTube over here. Team Katrina. And it's got a little hummingbird. Beautiful. We'll get this thing highlighted on. Thank you very much, Brandon Joe, our producer, putting this on YouTube. We come back from break. We're going to talk more with Katrina, get some of the details of the event from Jenny Wilson, the Director of Development for Susan G. Komen. Talk more with Conner Gossel on why this is so important for him personally and for the Broken Yolk. And make sure people all show up to this wonderful event that's going to be, it's always the first Sunday of November. There are throngs of people. I have been doing this event for a long, long time, and it's usually sunny, and everyone's in a great mood, and you're going to see how many folks come out to this one, Jenny? I know there's thousands.
We're anticipating about 10,000.
About 10,000 people. So we're going to chat more about that when we return. Another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County. We'll be back after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things for people in San Diego County, joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel, in her 3rd year of helping us out here on our Spotlight on the Community Show. So thrilled to have in the studio with us friends from Susan G. Komen San Diego, Jenny Wilson, Development Director, joined by Conner Gossel, Director of Marketing for the Broken Yolk Cafe. He's a volunteer with Susan G. Komen, and Katrina Butler just shared with us what a compelling story. She's a breast cancer survivor and an ambassador for Susan G. Komen. So talk a little more about the... do you have a question, Kristen?
I just wanted to learn more about the walk, but I wanted to make sure that in this, I thought that this was really fascinating in the notes that over the past 30 years, 29 new breast cancer fighting drugs were made possible via Komen. So I think if people are on the fence about going to this walk, raising money, things like that, I think that that's huge. So on that, Jenny, can anybody participate? Do they have to fundraise a certain amount? What does that look like in terms of the walk?
Yes, thanks for bringing that up. And you're absolutely right. Over the past 30 years, 29 new breast cancer fighting drugs were made possible and due to Komen's research funding.
That's amazing.
And yeah, so we're really proud of that. And as far as the walk, I'm sorry, what was your question?
Do you have to raise money, right?
Yeah. So do you have to hit a particular goal, or can anybody participate? What does that kind of look like?
Yeah, thank you. So we're actually working towards raising $700,000 for Komen, but the walk is actually free. So it's free to register. But what we ask is for people to register as either an individual or as part of a team. And then there's peer-to-peer fundraising. And Katrina actually has a great team. And I think you had said you have 40 members this year.
Wow.
So I mean, she's the expert and would love to hear her share her experience in the past walks.
So when I was in elementary school all the way through high school, I've always done some type of a charitable walk. I've done Jump Rope for Heart. I've done Walk for Healthy Babies. I've done a lot of different walks, but I've always wanted to do the Susan G. Komen. But I thought that I wanted to do the 3-day until they told me it was 60 miles.
That's right. That's right.
When I found out that I had breast cancer, I instantly decided I will walk this year. And that was last year. So on the 19th of October, just less than a month before the walk, I pulled together 20 people, family, friends, loved ones, and they were on my team, which is the Wings of Faith. And they showed up in drones. I did not ask them to raise money because it was such a short notice. But what I did was I raised the money, and I came in one of the top 7 out of 10.
Congratulations.
10. So I was thank you. I was so happy about that. But I love the walk because when you're there amongst all of the people that are there, totally positive. There's nothing negative. And I recently wrote somewhere that it's not about blue. It's not about red. It's about pink. And everybody is about pink. So when you see this long line of people just supporting, it's just a wonderful thing. It's a sisterhood instant. Anyone that I've met with breast cancer, we've kept in touch.
Well, and what I've always loved about the event is the force of men who come out to support, whether it's their moms, their sisters, their spouses, their aunts, their kids, whatever, is huge. Mm-hmm. And they're wearing pink tutus and everything that goes with it. It's quite a festival out there. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask, Conner on this, do you have a nice size Broken Yolk team?
We have a pretty good sized team, about 13 of us who are out there for the big day.
Nice.
Kicks off for us in the kitchen at 3 a.m. But
oh my goodness.
Once the racers are all out there and everybody's showing up for such an incredible event, we got about 7 people manning all the food, and another 7 who are handing out merchandise and helping guide around our beloved mascot who cannot go 2 feet without falling over.
Yeah, I'm going to look for you on that side. Now, again, I go every year, and I go with a friend of mine who's a breast cancer survivor, and so wouldn't miss it. It's a lot of fun, and encourage our audience here because one, it's a free event, but you can make donations. If you make a certain amount of donation, you'll get a shirt or stuff. If you can't make it, you can still donate to Susan G. Komen. As Kristen had noted, because of this 29 new, drugs, whatever the case may be, the research is absolutely humongous. We're fortunate in San Diego County to have such amazing researchers at all our institutions, whether they're at university hospitals or biotech or biocom. It's just phenomenal on this. And to get will we get to see you out there, Katrina?
Absolutely. I will be there, me along with my 40 team members. Actually, there are 39, but we're excited to be there this year again.
That sounds good. Jenny, any final comments regarding Susan Komen or about the event?
Yes, we would love to see everyone join us on November 2nd at Balboa Park. To register, go to komen.org/San Diego Walk.
Yeah, it is well worth it. The energy is huge. The only thing I'm cautioning you, your lips are going to be very sore because you'll be smiling the whole time. It literally is. When you see the people, there's a ton of kids out there. Are dogs allowed out there?
Yes, our four-legged friends are welcome.
Yeah, that's what I know. So, I mean, it is a great event. And so, again, it's on the 2nd of November, correct? And what time should people get there?
So the event site opens at 6:30. Our opening ceremony starts at 7:30, and then 8 o'clock is when our walk officially begins. And then we do a really fun post-walk celebration and mascot dance-off at 9:45.
Right, and I encourage people. There's, as Jenny mentioned, I think you said 10,000 people or so.
Yes.
So you can want to get there early to find parking and so forth. But enjoy Balboa Park. It's in a beautiful area. Still by 6th Avenue. Is that where it kicks off?
Yes, you're correct. It's on the corner of 6th Ave and Laurel Street.
Very good. Well, Katrina, thank you for sharing your story. I could not possibly look at a hummingbird and not think of you.
Thank you so much. Pleasure being here.
Of course. And Conner, thank you and your team at the Broken Yolk for having just a great restaurant and a customer service experience, but your support of such an iconic organization.
I appreciate you saying that, but all the thanks goes to the Susan G. Komen team and the community that they built for us to be a part of out here.
Well, we're honored on that. Jenny, wishing you nothing but great success. I'll see you out there on the 2nd. And Kristen, are you going to try to make it?
I will try, yes.
Okay, very good. We'll see if that is true. I know Kristen's got a busy schedule as well, but it is a great event. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's the art, financial literacy, they do a great job. And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.